In today's video, we will discuss the top 10 dirtiest countries in the world in 2025. Pollution is now one of the most pressing global challenges, severely impacting the environment, public health, and wildlife. Many nations are grappling with toxic air, contaminated water sources, and uncontrolled waste that makes everyday life increasingly difficult for millions of people. According to data from environmental studies, we'll look at the countries suffering the most from pollution in 2025 and the root causes behind their rankings. These include industrial waste, poor regulatory enforcement, and rapid urban growth. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and watch the full video to stay informed. Number 10. Egypt. Although Egypt is world-renowned for its ancient wonders, it is currently facing serious environmental issues. In 2025, reports from the World Health Organization and the World Bank indicate that Cairo, the capital, is now among the cities with the worst air pollution on the planet. Toxic emissions from outdated vehicles, industrial factories, and the widespread burning of waste have made the air dangerously unsafe to breathe. The Nile River, Egypt's most essential source of water, is heavily polluted as well. Huge volumes of untreated sewage, industrial runoff, and plastic waste are contaminating this vital waterway. Satellite data from 2024 shows that over 40% of the water used for agriculture in the Nile Delta is polluted, threatening both food production and human health. Although the Egyptian government is making efforts to promote recycling and renewable energy, progress remains slow. Rapid urban development and weak infrastructure continue to strain the environment, putting the country's fragile ecosystems at serious risk. Without immediate action, pollution in Egypt could grow worse, impacting millions of lives and jeopardizing the nation's sustainable future. Number 9. Indonesia. Famous for its stunning islands and rich biodiversity, Indonesia is undergoing a major environmental crisis in 2025. Greenpeace and the United Nations Environment Program report that Indonesia's rainforests are disappearing at an alarming rate, primarily due to deforestation for palm oil plantations. This destruction of natural habitat endangers wildlife such as orangutans and tigers and contributes to the thick haze that spreads across Southeast Asia every year, creating serious health problems. Jakarta, the country's capital, is now ranked among the most polluted cities globally. The city's air is filled with toxic emissions caused by traffic congestion, coal-fired power plants, and the burning of garbage. These factors have made it increasingly difficult for residents to breathe, leading to a rise in respiratory illnesses. Indonesia's rivers are also suffering. The Citarum River, often labeled as one of the dirtiest rivers in the world, is contaminated with plastic, industrial chemicals, and untreated sewage. Despite international aid and national campaigns such as Clean Indonesia, pollution levels continue to rise. Without stricter environmental regulations and effective enforcement, Indonesia risks losing both its natural beauty and the health of future generations. Number 8. Bangladesh. In 2025, Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh, continues to experience some of the most hazardous air pollution worldwide. Studies by Air Visual and the United Nations Environment Program show that Dhaka contains alarmingly high concentrations of PM2. 5 particles, tiny pollutants that penetrate deep into the lungs and cause serious health issues. The main sources include smoke from brick kilns, emissions from outdated vehicles, and unregulated industrial activity. Despite significant progress in economic and social development, pollution remains a huge barrier to public health. The garment industry, which forms the backbone of Bangladesh's economy, is also a major contributor to water pollution. Rivers like the Buriganga are filled with toxic dyes and chemicals from textile factories, making the water unsafe for drinking and fishing. Waste management poses another critical challenge. A 2024 study revealed that less than 40% of urban waste is properly collected or treated, leaving piles of trash in streets, waterways, and drainage systems. Climate change adds further stress. Rising sea levels and frequent floods help spread pollutants more widely. Although the government has launched green initiatives and tightened environmental regulations, enforcement remains weak. As a result, pollution continues to threaten both public health and fragile ecosystems. Number 7. Pakistan. By 2025, Pakistan's pollution crisis has worsened so severely that environmental experts, including those from the United Nations Environment Program and local research institutions, now consider it a national emergency. A 2024 report by the Worldwide Fund for Nature WWF Pakistan states that over 90% of the country's wastewater is discharged directly into rivers and lakes without treatment, making it unsafe for drinking or irrigation. Urban waste management is in disarray. Most major cities lack effective recycling programs or waste disposal systems. Massive landfills have formed, and garbage accumulates in public areas. Cities like Karachi and Lahore are among the most polluted in South Asia, plagued by thick smog resulting from vehicle emissions, industrial smoke, and crop burning. The Indus River, Pakistan's primary source for both drinking water and agriculture, is heavily contaminated with industrial waste, sewage, and plastic. In response, the government has launched the Clean Green Pakistan movement to improve waste management, promote tree planting, and shift toward clean energy. However, progress has been slow due to insufficient funding and political roadblocks. Without stronger and faster intervention, pollution will continue to endanger Pakistan's public health, food security, and environment. Number 6. India, now the world's most populous nation, is facing an unprecedented environmental emergency in 2025. According to ICARE and Air Visual Studies, many Indian cities are among the most polluted globally, especially Delhi and other large urban centers that regularly experience dangerously low air quality. The main culprits include emissions from vehicles, industrial activity, construction dust, and seasonal crop burning in nearby states. Water pollution is equally concerning. Major rivers like the Yamuna and the Ganges are overwhelmed with untreated sewage, industrial chemicals, and religious waste offerings. A 2024 report from the Chandigarh Pradesh Congress Committee revealed that over 60% of India's water bodies are unsafe for human consumption or domestic use. Waste management remains a colossal challenge. Cities like Mumbai and Kolkata are plagued by overflowing landfills, while plastic waste is increasingly polluting rural areas. Government initiatives such as the Swachh Bharat campaign and renewable energy expansions are underway, but progress is slow. Without urgent and large-scale environmental reforms, India's pollution crisis will only intensify, threatening health, biodiversity, and long-term economic growth. Number 5. Nigeria. In 2025, Nigeria, Africa's most populous country and largest economy, is battling deepening environmental problems. According to reports from the United Nations Environment Program and the World Bank, Lagos, Nigeria's most populous city, suffers from some of the worst air pollution in Africa. This is primarily due to diesel generators, industrial emissions, and unregulated vehicles emitting toxic fumes. Despite growing public awareness and international support, corruption and weak governance have severely delayed progress. Waste management is in crisis, garbage is often dumped or burned in open areas, polluting air, water, and soil. The Niger Delta, one of the world's most ecologically vital wetland regions, has been devastated by decades of unregulated oil extraction. Massive oil spills have poisoned farmland, rivers, and drinking water. A 2024 Amnesty International report found that over 75% of drinking water sources in the Delta region are contaminated by oil-related pollutants. Although clean energy initiatives and government programs have been introduced, enforcement remains inconsistent. Without significant action, Nigeria's environmental degradation will continue to jeopardize public health, biodiversity, and economic development. Number 4. Mongolia. In 2025, Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia, remains among the most polluted cities in the world, especially during winter months. Heavy reliance on coal for heating, industrial emissions, and cold weather patterns result in hazardous air quality. Mongolia, once known for its vast grasslands and nomadic traditions, is now in the grips of an environmental crisis caused by rapid urbanization and climate change. A 2024 report from the United Nations Development Program highlights a sharp decline in Mongolia's freshwater resources, largely due to expanding industrial mining operations. Water scarcity is growing worse, affecting both rural communities and livestock. Though the government has launched clean energy initiatives and tree planting campaigns, these efforts are still in early stages and struggle to keep up with the scale of damage. In Ulaanbaatar's traditional Gare districts, many families rely on coal-fired stoves that release fine particulate matter into the air. At the same time, desertification driven by climate change and overgrazing is rapidly reducing fertile land, threatening food security and local livelihoods. Without urgent action, Mongolia's unique environment and cultural identity may suffer irreversible harm. Number 3. Haiti's environmental crisis reached a tipping point in 2025, with deforestation being its most critical issue. Only around 2% of the country's original forest cover remains. Driven by logging, charcoal production, and the clearing of land for farming, this environmental collapse has had disastrous effects. According to a recent World Bank report, widespread deforestation has led to catastrophic flooding, soil erosion, and diminishing agricultural productivity. Without tree roots to stabilize the soil, heavy rains wash away fertile land, making farming increasingly difficult. Port-au-Prince, Haiti's capital, also suffers from severe waste problems. Streets are lined with uncollected garbage that contaminates water sources and fuels outbreaks of disease. A 2024 study found that over 70% of Haitians lack access to clean drinking water, as both rivers and underground aquifers are heavily polluted. Air pollution is also a growing concern. Many households burn wood or waste for cooking and heating, releasing harmful toxins into the atmosphere. With a fragile government and a struggling economy, Haiti faces immense challenges in implementing long-term environmental solutions. Number 2. Chad. By 2025, Chad is experiencing one of the world's most extreme environmental crises. A mix of deep poverty, worsening climate change, and fragile infrastructure has made living conditions increasingly dire. Lake Chad, once a vital water source for millions, has shrunk by over 90% due to overuse and climate change. This has forced countless communities to travel long distances for water or rely on contaminated sources. Air pollution is another pressing concern. As the Sahara Desert continues to expand, it sends dust storms sweeping across Chad. Indoor pollution is just as dangerous. Many families cook over open fires using wood or charcoal, contributing to widespread respiratory issues. A 2024 World Bank report revealed that fewer than 10% of Chad's citizens have access to adequate sanitation, leading to outbreaks of waterborne diseases. Trash accumulates in cities due to the lack of waste management infrastructure. Ongoing regional conflicts and a severe lack of funding make it extremely difficult for Chad to address these urgent problems. Number 1. Afghanistan. In 2025, Afghanistan is considered the most polluted country in the world. A 2024 report by the United Nations Environment Program points to decades of war, poverty, and ineffective governance as key factors behind its environmental collapse. Kabul, the capital, now ranks among the cities with the world's worst air quality. The primary sources include unchecked vehicle emissions, low-grade fuel, and factory pollution. The result is widespread respiratory illness and lung disease. Water pollution is equally severe. Rivers and groundwater sources are filled with untreated sewage and toxic industrial waste, making them unsafe to drink. Years of deforestation and overgrazing have stripped the land, causing soil erosion and reduced agricultural output. Waste disposal is another disaster. Cities often dump or burn garbage in open areas, further worsening air quality and contributing to climate change. Despite international aid, rising temperatures and declining rainfall have triggered food and water shortages. Ongoing political instability and lack of resources have made it nearly impossible to address these urgent problems. Afghanistan's environmental crisis serves as a stark reminder of the need for immediate, global environmental action.